How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a beer I'm kind of pumped to dive into. That would be Trillium, part of their Wild series. This is their Onebier, I would believe. I don't know how you say that. Onebier, it's their Semillion juice, aged on Semillion juice version. Comes at 10.8% alcohol by volume. So, yeah, definitely a chugger. And honestly, it's almost about a year old. We're in September 2000. Oh, wait. Okay, what's the dating on this is September 20th, September 2018, I think it is. I believe. So that means it's almost 2 years old, or is it? No, it can't be because it's not September 18th, 2020 yet. So it's got to be that. Oh, wow, almost 2 years old on this. This comes courtesy to my boy Brad. I need a bottle opener. I have keys. Yeah, he dropped us off. He came to visit PA, and this wants to get out of the glass. Actually, it's not gushing. I just kind of like opened up a bit and then just completely stopped. So, to be fair, it wasn't wanting to get fully out of it. I poured a little bit too much in there, but you know me, I fuck everything up. So we'll see what this is. So you're talking about a wine grape juice, I would assume, on an American Wild Ale that is 2 years old in the bottle. Beautiful labeling, classic kind of Trillium labeling, but new enough. In shape, also with that gold foil kind of back, you can see it kind of shimmering a little bit. Just kind of sets it apart from what they typically do. So it's that similar wood etching style. It's got that kind of peaking kind of church-like thing you associate a lot with, like abbey ales and stuff like that. So it's still giving you that classic kind of Trillium treatment as far as a stylation, because that's a word. But it also gives you something to know you're outside the norm of what they typically do. I mean, that looks like a wild ale, golden wild ale. You know, not much as far as carbonation goes. Soft little haze. You know, very, very pretty beer. Let's get those. Yeah, I mean, it smells like a golden ale. Golden sour. I keep wanting to say instead of golden ale. But it's a wild golden sour. You know, fruit, grape, white grape, green apple. Those kind of things you typically get from that kind of style. Vanilla. Definitely getting a decent amount of vanilla in there. And tartness that I'm not quite sure is going to go acidic or just a little cheek pulling tartness or not be there at all. Smells pretty, smells nice. You're telling me I couldn't tell you what Semillion juice tastes like, but I would hope if I was drinking this wine, I don't think I'd call out any kind of like additional grape. I mean, I go white grape as far as the flavor, but I get that a lot on the white grape vinousness. I get a lot on kind of wild ales to begin with, so it's not something I think I would call out on top of that. It smells pretty nonetheless. Dive in. Cheers. Yeah, it's dangerous because that drinks nothing like 10%. The only way I would know this is high ABV is because it has this slight evaporative alcohol thing to it. After you swallow, it feels like everything starts to dry out immediately. It's not a yeast dryness. It's very different than what you get from a typical kind of yeast dryness. Yeah. There's this cool nutty maltiness to it. It's not overly sweet, and it's not overly acidic or tart either. Man, that dries out so much. It's a combination. It has to be a combination of that alcohol being as high as it is. That the yeast, this has to be what they say, aged on Semillion juice, but it has to be in a barrel or food or something along those lines. It's definitely acidic. You want to know how I know? I'm actually getting heartburn for the first time in months. I actually forgot to take my heartburn pills for the past couple of days. But this is giving me a heartburn, so there's definitely a soft acidity to it. Nothing over the top, though. It definitely comes off as like more of a barrel-aged, photo-aged kind of wild sour than something with a heaping amount of grape juice. Or I'm assuming Semillion is a grape. But I don't know if they... And this is where I'm not sure because I didn't research the beer, and I do that on purpose. I definitely don't want to research beer before I review it. It's almost like they added the juice in like definitely not post fermentation. It tastes like it's in pre-ferm, so that way it's been gobbled up, and it acted almost like honey does, and in a lot of beers, and that it actually adds as an active yeast fuel, as a sugar for that yeast to kind of gobble up and poop out a little bit more alcohol. Kind of makes sense with the higher ABV because it comes off as like a 6 and change % beer, but when you start to think about it, and maybe that juice is added at fermentation, pre-fermentation, at fermentation, and it uses that sugars from the juice to bump up that alcohol level, it kind of makes sense. And it ends up drying out the beer in the process in combination with what I assume is it hitting wood. It's a fun beer. Listen, I'm actually trying to break it down from assumption, and I think that means that you guys know that I'm really curious about the beer. There's something about it to kind of turn my brain on, and I think that's the purpose of a lot of different beers. Not all of them. You know, it's the big old double hazy IPA. You don't want to have to think about it. You just want to drink it, enjoy it. This is something where you want to drink it, sip it, and kind of think about it the whole time. Yeah. Tasty. Like almost bone-crushingly dry, but in a positive sense. It's not like, it's a relentless dryness that is welcomed. It's not diminishing or putting the beer down in any form or fashion. It is actually aiding the beer and adding another level of complexity and funness to the beer that I appreciate. So yeah, I just got myself a splitter between my fingernail. God damn, that was not fun. I think it fell out. I got lucky. I'm a baby. Anyway, let's talk about this. So, to bring it back to the basics, it's definitely more that grape juicy, this white grape Venice thing, than anything else. I got that little bit of green apple on the nose, but that kind of made way for just a straight up kind of Venice, kind of white grape kind of vibe to the beer itself. There's a cool nutty, slightly toasty nutty kind of thing to the beer, which I kind of really appreciate. Adds another character and adds another level of the beer itself. And then the way that dryness comes off, I think it's a combination of wood, and I think it's a combination of that grape juice being added during fermentation to help boost the beer, the ABV, and fuel some of that yeast to kind of dry the beer out even more, and to just add that kind of softness to it. You know, it's fun. It's delicious. I dig it. It's just danger because, like I said, it drinks like 6, not 10. Fun beer. Probably this is the third of 3 beers that my buddy Brad gave me from Trillium, and it's all part of the Wild program, and I've not had any of that stuff yet. So this is my first kind of foray into the Trillium kind of wild stuff. Did I have some of the wild stuff at the Shelton Brothers Festival? I don't remember. But anyway, it's a very great introduction. Not that I didn't expect this level of stuff from Trillium, but still, when you get this level of stuff, you're a happy camper. This dude's a happy camper. So there you go. If you like what we like this, we already talked about it. Oh, no, we didn't talk about it. I missed that whole section. One of the better wild ales I've had is like, yes, it's not the best, not Mount Rushmore status, but up there, value availability, no idea. Guys, let me know and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like, golden sours. I mean, it's not sour, but it's in that vein. So Belgian golden ale, Belgian golden sour, some of them are along those lines. And you're a fan of dry beers, because it is a sweet beer in the core of it, but it dries out so aggressively at the end that it is one of those just bone dry, kind of funky beers that I know there's a big kind of following for. So if you like those beers, you'll like that, or like this, or like that. You say nice thing. If it's like this, it's like that. I don't know. Dahlia to Peoples, maybe. Anyway, another beer review in the books. Man, went all over the place on this one. Down there, if you want to talk about it, Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully, you enjoyed a nice little beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.